Hello. I wanted to make a video about how to equip your tactical Marine squads. Tactical squads are very common and very versatile and useful actually for a Space Marine army. And they have a lot of options to choose from. So what should you use? What shouldn't you use? I like to kind of steer away from what shouldn't you use because it kind of takes away from your choice. This is your army, right? Sometimes if something's very genuinely bad, I will try to advise against it, but I don't want to tell you what to do or what not to do. What I want to do here is give you some advice on how you could put together your tactical Marine squads. So taking a look at the basics, a starting tactical Marine squad is 5 Marines. They are all equipped with bolters or bolt guns. It's the same thing. Sometimes you see a name or a different name. I managed to find the most basic looking Marines I could. So they all have bolters. Bolter is strength 4, no AP value, 1 damage. It's got a 24-inch range, but if you're at 12-inch range, you get 2 shots instead of just 1. It's an okay infantry gun, it's not bad. But the cool thing about the tactical squad is that you get a lot of options to equip them with different stuff. Now, it's important to note that one of these guys, you don't get a choice in the matter. One of these guys is your sergeant. Your sergeant can have a bolter, or he can have access to a whole slew of war gear that I'll get to later. But for starters, the 5-man tactical squad, you can choose either to have 1 weapon from the special weapons list or 1 weapon from the heavy weapons list. The special weapons, if you look in your codex, or you can look online too if you like, you've got a few to choose from. So you've got the plasma gun, which is pretty solid. You've got, where is it? Here we go. The melt-a-gun, which is also a good choice. You've got the flamethrower. I forgot the model, I'm sorry. You'll have to use your imagination. You've got the flamethrower, and you also have something called a grav gun. Now, I'm not going to go in depth into all the details of those weapons. I'm going to try and do that in another sort of beginner video about Space Marine weapons. But for now, the plasma gun is pretty solid all around. The melt-a-gun is mostly used for hunting down tanks or big models. The flamer is for big groups of small models. And the grav gun is for elite infantry. So you can take one of those options, the special weapon, or like I said, you can take a heavy weapon. Again, I'm not going to go into the details of these heavy weapons. I'll just give you a little look here. So you can choose the las cannon right here. Good for anti-tank. You can choose the missile launcher, one of my personal favorites, because it does sort of a middle-of-the-road job. It's good at anti-tank and it's good at anti-infantry. The plasma cannon, which is basically the big brother of the plasma gun, just longer range, more shots. The heavy bolter, which, as you probably guessed, is the big brother of the bolter, the heavy bolter. It's a little stronger. The multi-melta, again, another big brother here. You've got the multi-melta, which is a bigger version of the melta-gun. And finally, you have the grav cannon. Again, a larger version of the grav gun, doing sort of the same job of killing elite infantry. So you can choose one of those as well. Now, with your 5-man team, you can also decide to take another 5 Marines. So with a 10-man Marine squad, you now have the option to choose 1 heavy weapon and 1 special weapon. Not or. You can take both. That is the benefit to having the full 10-man squad of Marines. So, what should you choose? One more thing we have to look at too is the sergeant. So the sergeant, like I said, is in the squad regardless of whether you choose it or not. He's just there. He's part of the points cost. You don't have to pay for him. So let's say we start with a basic sergeant. He has a bolter, just like everybody else. But if you look, he has a lot of options to choose from. In the codex entry, it tells you you can choose from the sergeant equipment list. So if you go in your codex before all of the unit entries and data sheets, there is a series of lists. There's sergeant's equipment, special weapons, heavy weapons. Those you can choose from. Forget which page it's on, but it's right before all of the rules for the different models. Now, he can choose some close combat weapons or more shooty weapons. So I'll give you an example. One basic loadout for a sergeant is a chainsword. It's free, which is really nice, and it gives him one more attack in close combat. So he loses his bolter and he takes a chainsword. You can do that. You can also choose to give him a power weapon, which is a more potent close combat weapon. For the example here, I'm using a power axe. This will cost you more points though. A power axe is 5 points, but it makes his close combat attacks stronger. So he gets +1 to his strength and -2 AP. So that's pretty cool. You could do that too. You could also choose an even bigger, beefier close combat weapon if you want to. So this guy here, I've got him equipped with a power fist. Now this is 12 points, so it's getting into that sort of steep area where it's almost not worth it to equip him with so much gear because it's just one sergeant in one squad. But it can be kind of fun. So I do have this guy with a power fist. Power fist is very strong. I highly recommend the power fist for characters like commanders, but not for sergeants in tactical squads. Although you could do it anyways. Like I said, I don't want to dissuade you from making any choices. Now, what I personally recommend when equipping your sergeant is equipping him with a combi weapon. A combi weapon is both a bolt gun and one of the special weapons rolled into one. So, as an example, here I have a sergeant and he has a combi melta. So on the bottom, it's a bolt gun or bolter, and on the top, it's a melta gun. So what that does is it allows your sergeant to effectively have another special weapon. So if you choose a 5-man squad, let's say we've got 5 guys right here, okay? And you decide to replace one of your bolters with a melta gun. So now you have a squad with 4 bolters and 1 melta gun. But you also decide, this will be your sergeant, to equip your sergeant with a combi melta. Now you effectively have 2 melta guns in the same squad. You can do this with any of the special weapons and combi weapons. So you could have a plasma gun and a combi plasma, or a flamer and a combi flamer. And lastly, a grav gun or a combi grav, or rather, and a combi grav. You can decide which ones. You can do a mixture of 2, but I advise against it. So, for example, if you have a flamer and a combi plasma gun, I kind of advise against that because it just splits things up a little too much. And this way, if you have both of the same weapons, so a plasma and a combi plasma, you have a unit of 5 Marines that has also a bit of a special purpose other than just being a troop choice. It has plasma guns now, so it can deal more damage to heavier infantry and other targets. That's pretty cool. And since the new edition, 8th edition, tactical squads became even more versatile. It used to be in 7th edition that you would select a unit and that unit would shoot all of its guns at another unit. That's not true anymore. In 8th edition, you can choose each gun individually where it will fire. Now, that being said, you have to declare all of the different targets for the squad before you shoot anything. But you can say, for example, these 4 bolter guys are going to shoot at that squad over there. And this melt-a-gun is going to shoot at that tank over there. That's okay. You can do that. That's kind of why the special weapons are a good choice. Usually, for me, anyhow, I don't like to equip heavy weapons, like the heavy bolter or the missile launcher, in a tactical squad, because usually I like my tactical squads to move around. And if you move with heavy weapons, you get a -1 penalty to shooting. It's not the end of the world, but it's also not ideal. So, one more thing to talk about. I mentioned that in a 10-man Space Marine squad, you can take both a special weapon and a heavy weapon. And also, you can take equipment for your sergeant, so a combi weapon if you like, or a close combat weapon if that's your flavor. Now, Space Marines, if you have a unit that is full strength, so that means it's got all 10 Space Marines in it, before you deploy, or I think it's as you deploy, I forget the order, but you can choose to split the 10-man squad in half into 2 5-man squads. And you can divide them however you like. You can have, for example, the heavy weapon and 4 bolter Marines in one squad, and then the sergeant, the special weapon, and the 3 other bolter Marines in another squad. You can do any variation and combination. So a popular option that has worked for years now and works even better in this edition is you take a special weapon, let's say a plasma gun, a combi plasma on the sergeant, and then 3 bolter Marines. That is one squad. In the other squad, you have 4 bolter Marines and a long-range heavy weapon, such as a missile launcher or a las cannon, and you put them somewhere else. The squad with the sergeant and the plasma gun, they can move around, do some damage to certain things, maybe hold objectives, and the other squad can stay farther back and fire with the missile launcher and las cannon without moving, so you don't incur that penalty of moving and firing a heavy weapon. That's just some advice, though. You can always keep all 10 men together. You can put them in a transport if you want to. You don't have to give them a heavy weapon. Just because you have the options does not mean you have to take it. You can have a squad of 10 Marines that all have bolters. There's nothing going against that at all. So you have a lot of options. That's why I truly love the tactical squad, because it gives you a lot of options of what you want them to do. And also, troops now, at least once each player's codex has been released, and for us, for Space Marines, troops capture objectives better than other units. So that's very cool. If you look in your codex, Space Marines have something called the Defenders of Humanity rule, and that will allow them to capture objectives better than other units. So if you have a tactical squad of even 1 tactical Marine, that's the only guy left alive, and he's on an objective, and your opponent has 12 models from another unit that's not a troops unit, then you still capture the objective with that 1 model because your troops can do it well. But be careful, because other armies' troops can do the same thing. So, overall, the tactical squad is incredibly versatile. You can choose a slew of different options for what you want it to do, and usually it'll do a pretty good job. I hope this helped you. If you have any questions, you feel free to ask me, send me a message, or write something in the comments below. Thanks for watching.